Everyone, it's Dr. Judith Briles, and we're back again for another awesome summer, first time episode of the AuthorU-Your Guide to Book Publishing podcast. And that, as always, we like to start with one of our quotes. I've repeated this so many times, but during this weekend, I was in Barnes and Noble, and I mean, what was cool with my guest, she'll love it when I say this, I sold 50 books. Love that. And there was a huge interest in writing. So my quote today from Snappy Sassy Salty, Success, which is here, this little book, 400 of my quotes, is you must get that publishing is a business. And the best way to do it is you start learning the infrastructure of it, that there is a P&L, profit and loss, there is your guts that have to go into it, and you need to start learning how to make money. And when you do it with, in my opinion, this is off the cuff here, in the independent publishing way, you'll make far more money. And if you learn how to pitch yourself like I did in a bookstore, instantly when I connected with someone in the field that we were talking about, instantly the book was sold. Instantly. So with that said, which would tie in with things that my fabulous guest and I talk about all the time, and it's been too long since we've had her on the show with us, is Jackie Lapin, and she has conscious media relations, radio. She has podcast tours. We're going to get into all that today, how to push your book, and she has a new baby called Historical Traveler. So we're going to get into that too. For all the historical fiction writers, you need to tune in here. So with that, Jackie has helped over 400 luminaries, leaders, filmmakers, authors grow their businesses. If that's something that you want to do, stay tuned. If you want to sell more books, you want to create viewership, you want to create followings, how about super fans? Jackie is the perfect person to talk to. She's got the ultimate Rolodex. Remember that name. It's the old-fashioned name we had. The ultimate Rolodex of over 9,000 contacts that will get you out there. So if you want to be successful, this is the show you want to be tuning into on creating interviews for you, your book, your expertise, your genre. That's what we're going to do today. So Jackie, welcome back to the show.
Oh, Judith, I love hanging out with you. Thank you for the invitation to come back.
Oh, it's my pleasure. All right. So there is so many things. I know we wanted to kiss on podcasts because that's the hot thing. And I know I asked Ben, my producer, who always connects us right away, to just how many podcasts. When I started my podcast 8 years ago, almost, there were, there were in the thousands, like less than 10,000. Now there's 5 million of these babies. And it always makes me cuckoo. Really, I'm very blunt here. When I hear people say, oh, start your own podcast, I don't think so. You realize what it's like to compete with the competition today? Better yet, in my opinion, which is why I wanted her to talk about it, is find other podcasts that already have legs, that have followers, that feature people like you and your book or your expertise. So, Jackie, let's start there.
So, the important thing is when you create a book, you can't afford to have it sit on the digital shelf. You have to be able to get out and
Yeah.
start marketing it because nobody's going to do it for you. There aren't publishers much that will do that any longer. And most people are responsible for their own book regardless.
Yeah.
But podcasters are always looking for guests. And if you fit and are aligned with the audience that they have, it's a perfect match. So your mission is to get on as many podcasts as possible so that people know about your book. But here's what I also tell people, and especially when we're talking about a nonfiction. When you get on a podcast, there are 3 things that you need to do. The first thing is introduce your book and get them to want that. The second thing is offer a free opt-in gift, something that'll get them into your opt-in list. because they may not buy the book the first time they hear you, but by the time you start sending them things, they might bite then. But the third and most important is if this book is a gateway to your services, you want to seed them, introduce them to your next offering. What is it that you're doing? Is it a coaching program? Are you offering a free consultation? Do you have a e-course? Where are you taking them next that will add money into your coffers? So you include all three of those when you're doing the interviews.
I love what you just said. I have to tell you, I love it. Getting on, okay, that seems like reasonable. But your number two is so awesome, Jackie. Offer them something free right now that's on your website to get them over there to submit their email and their name to download what you're offering. And I can't tell you how, when I talk to so many authors, and you talk to a lot of authors, the reluctancy to drive them to get that free offer. He says, well, I've had people say to me, Jackie, well, I wouldn't give my name and email. I mean, I'm sure you've heard it too.
Well, I think most people who are coming at this from a business first know that that's not the case, that this is an essential. Authors who are doing this for the first time need to understand, as you said, that this is a business. And the more people you have in your list, the more likely you are to sell books, grow your fan base, and be able to turn it into some kind of revenue. Now, let me just also tell you that, and we're going to talk more about media kits in the process of this.
Yes, yes,
But
yes, yes, yes.
one of the points of a media kit, and we always tell people to give the host 20 questions that you want to be asked in the order you want to be asked them. But the 20 questions are a roadmap of where you want to take the audience, what you want them to do, your calls to action. So those three things that I just mentioned to you will be, you'll have a question for each one of them that the host will ask that'll elicit your response and say, oh, well, I can help people with that. I've got this great 10 things that'll do dot, dot, dot. Or, I've got something, this
Love that.
calculator that will help them, etc. It's not, you're not saying, give me your email address. You're saying, I'm trying to help you. I'm giving you something in addition to my book that's going to be of value. Now, of course, that leader that you're giving them, that gift, is also going to lead them back to your book as well.
Mhm.
I mean, it's a circular thing. But in those 20 questions, there are three that will activate the things we're just talking about. You're basically setting yourself up for success. And there's other reasons why we do those 20 questions, and we'll talk more about that when we get into the media kit.
Oh, I love it. So you want to go ahead, everyone, here's what I'm hearing you clearly say. Those questions, get them up on your website. So it's on your media kit. So and you can always tell that they can go and download it, but I also would send it to them directly and remind them before the show.
Yeah, actually, we'll talk more about the full media kit and what you do with it shortly.
Okay.
But that's just, it's just important to understand that 20 questions is a tool for you to market your book and yourself and your resources. And by the way, if you want to do more speaking, one of the questions you can put in there is, Hen, are you a public speaker? Do you talk about this, on stages? And then you have the opportunity to say yes. And in fact, I'm looking for speaking engagements, and this is how to contact me for them.
I love this. I think this is so important. So for all you shy folks out there, I'm always going to say get over it. If you want to sell books, you got to get over it and going, but it's finding the connector. So just think about the 20 questions, all the things you wish people would ask you and they don't, you're going to give it to them. And I love the idea, Jackie. You do it in the order you want them to flow so you get to that final call to action.
Exactly.
Love that. All right. So let's talk about podcasting. Yeah, I know you. When I always think of you, you're the shortcut queen. That you, you've got all kinds of tips here, of how to reach out, how to connect with the right podcast, and do it effectively and efficiently. So let's start there.
So I'll just tell you a little bit about what we do for our clients, and then I'll talk about what you can do on your own. So
Mhm.
with Conscious Media Relations, our podcast radio tour, I read your book, I write a really compelling pitch letter, I write your media kit, and then we send it to 9,000 podcasts and radio shows. But we specialize in one thing specific, anything that improves people's lives. Then we track the responses and then confirm the interviews. And then, and here's an important one, reconfirm the interviews a week before the show, because all kinds of things happen in between a lot
Oh
of
yes.
times. And people
Oh yes.
do forget that you've already committed to them for an interview. So we take care of all of that, or we have a done with you and a done for you version of this. And, you know, we've done 400 of them. We've had 90 testimonials, and our clients include Don Miguel Ruiz, Ariel Ford, James Twyman, Joe Vitale, Chris and Jan Atwood, Maureen St.
Mhm.
Germain, Marie Diamond, and I can keep going on and on and on. So if you're going to do this on your own, the first tool you need to have is a pitch letter. And that pitch letter needs to impart to the host why they should have you on their show. What is unique and special and distinctive about you? Now, that means you have to come up with a hook. So that hook needs to be, what are you doing that's going to change the lives of their audience? Perhaps it might be your hero's journey story. It might be something that's going on in the world that this is very topical for. You need to find the ways that this is going to really compel them and get excited. And actually, speaking of free gifts, let me show you how this is done.
Mhm.
Um, if you would like to have direction on what kinds of things they're looking for, get my free ebook, 20 Factors That Will Tip the Scales in Your Favor to Get Booked on a Podcast. Now, you can do that by going to consciousmediarelations.com/podcast. And that is going to give you an idea of some of the hooks. Now, the structure of that letter is thus: your hook, you know, what's going to grab them and excite them. Then more about you. Why you? What is your expertise? Certainly being the author of this book makes you an expert.
Mhm. Mhm.
But you may have certifications, you may have results that you had, you may have acclaim that people have heaped on you and awards. What is it that makes you the expert on this subject matter? And it might be what's happened to you in your life. That may be the place where you tell your hero's journey story. And then the last part of this is more about what you're going to offer the audience, what's going to be life-changing them. So you tell the host what it is you're going to speak on, and then you can do bullet points, like 4 or 5 bullet points. Here's what your audience is going to learn. Dot, 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 dot. And then you close with asking for the order, ask them to book you. So that is the first thing. And here's a couple of tips when you're sending it by email. The first thing is, make sure that your subject line implies an outcome. What is this audience going to get from this interview? And no more than about 8 to 10 words. You can go as long as 10 words. But before that, you say guest for show, so that they know this is not junk mail. And if you're doing them one-on-one individually, you can put their name. So John, guest for show, dot, 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 dot. And then you open with your email. So you want to, you know, you have to have something compelling. It's not, I want to be on your show, or please book me on your show in that subject line. It's got to be, what is this interview about?
Mhm.
And why should I book you? So that's the pitch letter. That's the first and foremost. Then you have to have a good list. Where are the shows that you're going to find that make the difference for you? So you need to go to the pod catchers, which are Spotify, iHeartRadio, some of these other organizations that aggregate podcasts, and look for the channels that relate to your book. Is it personal growth? Is it women's? Is it business? Whatever the channel is, look there for the shows. Now, if you're a seasoned podcaster, it's okay to start, say, in the upper middle group. But if you're a beginning podcast host, a guest, you want to start at the lower end or in the lower middle, because you're more likely to get accepted there and start building your podcast repertoire and working out the kinks in your presentation than at the very top where you might get rejected. So you want to build up to the point when you really have got some good podcasts on your website. And so when they go looking for you, they see that you're doing a great job on podcasts. Now you can start hitting the bigger ones. But the point of this is to prevent getting rejected in the beginning and get dejected. You want to have a lot of successes going in and building yourself up to the fact that now you can get on the larger shows. Now, but let me warn you, the largest shows are always the hardest to get on. But also remember that the more defined your target audience is, the easier it is to get booked. So in other words, don't be shooting for, Joe Rogan. That doesn't make any sense. And by the way, half the time you have to pay to get on his show anyway.
Okay.
You want to shoot for something that's right in your sweet spot. If you do work with trauma victims, then you need to talk to shows that are focusing on trauma. And the more specific you are, the more likely you are to get the host to book you. Now, just a couple little things about getting those contacts. When it comes to podcasts, it's not like the old world when you could get to people easily by telephone. These days, if you want to get to a podcaster to get on their show, one, check and see if there is an intake form on their show website. And if there's no intake form or email on their show website, now you have to go look for their personal website. If you can find their personal website, they may have like for a show website, but then they have an individually personal or business website. That's where you're most likely to find their contact information.
Yeah.
But if you, and then the last choice is head to social media, reach out to them on LinkedIn. And that's usually the best place. Facebook is a possibility, but a lot of people are leaving Facebook today. But LinkedIn is usually a really good place to get people. And then you go and you reach out to them and say, hey, I'd like to send you this pitch, or, I've got something on here and here's the link to this, and then pitch them on LinkedIn and try that. So, and my rule of thumb is 3. If you have a phone number for them, 2 emails and a phone call, or 2 phone calls and an email. And if they don't respond, then go to LinkedIn or Facebook. If they don't respond, then sayonara. Don't continue to chase them because they're not interested. And so that's the best way to get yourself booked. Be relevant, be compelling, and be persistent. If one doesn't hit, keep trying other podcasters. As you said, there are 5 million out there, so you will find one.
It's scary. There's 5 million, and I think we figured there's like 2 million active. It means they went and bye-bye, or they've gone like, oh, they realize this is work. To run a show is work.
Yeah,
It
is.
it's like we don't have any.
Well, and we're the same way. I mean, one of the reasons that we evolved to do what we do is because people don't want to do all this work. We can do it easy for them. In fact, frankly, if you do the Done For You program, there's almost nothing you have to do except write your 20 questions.
So and let me just let's not skip the program you do. So it's called the Done For You program, and you go to your direct website, or do you
So
go
go
to
to
just okay,
consciousmediarelations.com, and there are
okay.
two versions. Actually, there are three. And so
Oh,
one is the done for you, where we do everything for you. You just tell us what date you're available and put it in your calendar and show up for the interview. The other one is a done with you. When those responses come back from the host, the 9,000 hosts we've sent them to, we'll log it into an Excel file on Google Docs. Then we'll make an introduction between you and the host, but in that Excel file, you already have all their information. You know, their what the show is, what the contact information is it a Zoom, what the website is. And then, but you take it from there. You're booking the interview with them, you're sending the reminder emails. That's the done with you. And the last one, and by the way, here's what's really cool about those two. We guarantee a minimum of 30 invitations. You will never walk away empty-handed with us. So you're going to have your full slate. Now, the last one does not have a guarantee, but it's a budget program essentially, and where we write the pitch and the media kit and we send it, but we send it from you, the author's email. And then you're responsible for everything when those responses come back. It's a lot of work, but it's also less expensive.
okay. And so what's that one called? So we have Done For You, Done With You, and
We call
Done
that the
By You.
direct access path, a DAP.
Oh, wow, that's so. I would say it's done by you. Okay, it sounds good to me. So do you want to go on over more things that belong in the media kit besides the 20 questions? Do we
Yes.
need one sheet with about the author or about the individual books? What else do we need?
Well, I want to step back to one other thing.
Hmm.
If you do not want to spend your time writing a full pitch letter,
Hmm.
there is an alternative, and it's a podcast introductory sheet. And it's a beautiful, glossy one pager on you. It has your bio, it has two testimonials, and it also has the four or five topics you want to speak on, those bullet points we were talking about.
Hmm.
And if you really can't figure out how to write your pitch, this is a good alternative. And we also design that for you. You'll write it, but we'll design it. And the writing is very simple. I mean, basically, it's your bio. And those testimonials should be on from hosts that have actually booked you before. So if you've got
Hmm.
some hosts that have had you on and they've said rave reviews, and go back to your friends if nothing else, and get some rave reviews, and that will play very well, and our designer will make it look really sharp. Um, and so that's an alternative. Now let's get to the media kit like we were talking about. So the media kit, now you don't send the media kit to get the interview. The media kit is provided to the host once they book you. This is to make them more authoritative when they're speaking about you and give them the materials to pull for their promotional materials.
Hmm.
So it's a package of things that will prevent the host from doing, send me this, send me this, send me this, send me this. This is what we know that they want. The first thing is a main release about what it is you're talking about. Now, if you've written a pitch, you can repurpose the pitch letter as your main release. That's what we do. The second thing is a full bio on you, not two paragraphs. We want them to know who you are, a full bio, a page to a page and a half, because we want them to understand what makes you tick and how you got to where you are. The third thing is an on-air introduction, the 2 to 3.5, 4 paragraphs that the host will read when you come on the air. And sometimes they'll only read the first one, so make that a blockbuster. But you want them to give them the words so that they don't misintroduce you and miss making some of the key points you want to be introduced through. And the fourth item are those 20 questions. Now, those 20 questions, there's a couple of really good reasons why you want to do them. One we've already talked about is the roadmap to lead the audience where you want them to go. The second thing is if you're an early stage author and you are intimidated by being on a podcast, 90% of these hosts will use your questions. Not
Hmm.
all, but 90%.
They will.
So you will know what the questions are that are coming at you. Now, you can separately, you don't send this to the host, but you can personally write out or type out the answers to those questions so that you know what you're going to deliver in each of those sections. And it'll prevent you from wandering off on tangents. It will make sure that you cover everything you want. It'll give you the confidence to know that you can deliver the right information and not leave things out.
So it keeps you focused. I mean, that's one of the most important thing. And you really, it's easy to go off on a tangent,
Right.
or some little aside gets said, and then all of a sudden you're going down another avenue. You never even realize that. You know,
Exactly.
I really learned that in when I did so much TV work, when TV was the go-to podcast, being on those shows, and then all of a sudden a host will have his great Aunt Martha had this horrible experience, and all of a sudden you're dealing with great Aunt Martha instead of just learning to say, I am so sorry you went through that. Here are three things if anyone's going through that might want to do in the same situation and take control back.
Yes.
And once you learn that, it makes a difference.
Well, and here I'm going to give you one more answer, but more tip. If a host is not using your questions and they
Hmm.
simply start on asking questions that you don't really want to answer,
Hmm.
there's a very simple way to deal with that. Don't answer the question. Tell them something else. They will follow where you go. They're not going to go back and ask that same question all over again. They will just take the interview from where you send them. So if they ask you a question, you can say, well, I really, I'd rather mention this because I think this is more important than that. Or, that is, you have a good point there, but you should know this, this, and this. You can always turn away from the question that you don't want to ask. And let me finish out and close out by what is
Good,
the
good. Yeah.
last item in the media kit. And we call that the Learn More page. And it's in bullet point how
Hmm.
the public can engage with you. So
Hmm.
it's the book, it's your free gift, it's your upsell opt-in, your upsell products and resources, it's your social media, because they always want that, and your website. Those 5 things. And you can add things, more things to the media kit, by the way. If you want to put your testimonials in your media kit, you can. But the 5 items I've given you are the bare essentials. And
So Jackie, would you go over those one more time for everyone?
sure.
Because they are the essentials.
So the
Yeah.
first is a main release, the subject you're speaking on. The second is your full bio. The third is the on-air introduction. The fourth are your
Right.
20 questions. And the
Right.
fifth is the Learn More page.
There you go. So, and I love the your add on the learn more page. So they just have it. Whether they get rid of it, they're listening, they have it and they will refer to it.
Well, and not only that, but a lot of times now people are do this on StreamYard or they'll put things in the notes. You want to give them something to copy and paste so that
Mhm.
they get it right. I'm right off the bat. They know this is the book link, this is the free gift link, this is the website link. Copy paste, copy paste. You want to make everything so easy to copy and paste. One of the things that we do, incidentally, when we're doing a podcast tour, is we create a Google Drive folder.
Mhm.
And in that folder is the media kit. By the way, we give them a PDF version so it's easily read, but we also give them a Word version so they copy and paste. And then we give them a photograph. And then lastly, we give them a digital copy of the book. The reason we do that is it eliminates for 75% of people the need to send a physical book. Now, 25% of those people will still want a physical book today. But 75%, and this has really shifted in the last couple of years,
Mhm.
75% will read your digital book and save you the money and the cost of having to send a
Mhm.
book. So that
So,
kind of a portal and giving them just the link to that portal really saves a lot of back and forth.
mhm. And you could even give them the option, that if they want to see the PDF of the book, what it really looks like, you can do that too.
Well, and that's what the digital copy of the book is. That's the
That will
PDF.
be. So you're not sending them the ebook, you're sending them the PDF of the book.
Yeah, we're sending that. We
Great.
give them the access to the PDF.
I think it's a great idea. So, all right. So I know, don't feel overwhelmed. This is what you're trying to do. This is the way we do things now. We move it as better than getting on a plane and flying all over Timbuktu, which I used to do. All right. So we talked about the subject line, which I thought was a great tip right up front that we wanted to do. So remember, everyone, if you know the name of the host, start it with that. And then just identify you, guest for your podcast, and then less than 10 words in this subject line of what the topic is. What's the cook grab? Did I do that right, Jackie, for you?
You did. Perfect.
Okay. All right. So you gave me a little bullet point. So see, I asked my guests for bullet points too. Jackie gave me a bullet point, which I thought, okay, I love this. One way to secure 30 interviews without doing any of the work. I think we've kissed on that, which
Yeah.
the done for you and the done with you. So we've done that methodology. And then that let's talk about that how to get your book on 1,000 apps in front of 500,000 people. What's that all about?
It's called Author Promocast. And what Author
Oh,
Promocast does is it takes and creates a 15-second video of your book, a little sales video, and puts it on 1,000 apps. It's seen by 500,000 people,
love it.
and the average response is 250 to 300 click-throughs. People will
Wow.
actually go to your landing page, or some of them will go right to buy the book. But the majority, if you have a landing page where you describe more, they'll click right in there.
Mhm.
And we're having really great success. We've got one guy who's a psychic medium and is using this, and he is selling books like crazy. I'm familiar with. But what's really nice about this is a lot of times, and particularly like for our podcast tours, we really can only serve people in the nonfiction area. The good thing about Author Promocast is it's great also on fiction. So, and a lot of fiction writers have more challenging time finding ways to market their book. There's very limited number of podcasters that'll do fiction. But this is a tool that'll get your book in front of 500,000 people. It's a 3-month program. So they'll keep seeing it again and again. And it's really innovative. So many people know about Amazon. Yeah, Amazon ads and Facebook ads and all those kinds of things. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't work, but a lot of people are looking for something else, something that is new, something's different, and that gets them in front of big audiences. If you've exhausted your own email list, this is the perfect place to go next. And the way to get there is to go to Author Promocast 3, the number 3. Author Promocast number 3, just authorpromocast3.com.
Okay, so is this one of your programs then, Jackie? The
I'm
Author
in
Promocast?
partnership. I'm in partnership. Yeah.
Okay, so I think that, and can you give us a price range on that?
Yes. It's 2,600 for the 3 months.
All right,
For the
so that people, let's divide this up. This is called a marketing budget. Okay, this is marketing. So it's like, what you say 2,600 for 3 months?
Yes.
All right, so it's around 850 a month for that, for getting out there and having a reel. These little 15-second things are often called reels. To having a reel that is strategically placed to do the grab. I would be interested to take your 350,000, was it, click-throughs?
No, 250 to 350 click-throughs, but it
Click
goes to
throughs.
500,000 people on
Okay,
average.
so it shoots out to 500,000 people. So then you have the click-throughs. So is there any data that shows does the click-through result in sales?
Yes, it does, but I don't have the data personally. So
Okay.
here's what the thing, when you go on that page that I just gave you, you'll set a meeting with Juliet and you can
Mhm.
ask very, very specific questions about those kinds of things
Okay,
and
so that's a
about your book
great
and
idea.
how it would work and,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
what kind of experience they've had with this kind of a book.
right. Yeah. Well, I think that would be very interesting to do, too. So it's author promo cast. Is that
Three,
correct?
author
Three.
promo class 3.
The number 3 in there. All right. I
Yes.
wrote it down. I'm going to follow up. Okay. So we have that. All right. So now let's talk about, we may have already kissed on it, but you might want to reinforce it and I'm again going through her bullet point questions, statements, right? So how to impress speakers, speaker bookers. So now we're talking about maybe speaking a little bit. We're talking about
Absolutely.
all right, the meeting planner, the decision makers. How do you
Right.
hook them in to bring them in quickly and
So
easily?
So one of the things that you need is a piece that's going to impress them.
Mhm.
And you remember how we talked about the podcast introductory sheet? Well, what you need for speaking is a speaker
Mhm.
sheet. And it's actually
Yes, you do.
2 pages as opposed to 1 page. And that one looks like this. You have the bio, you have testimonials from people who have booked you in the past. And if you don't have them yet, you can use testimonials from people who've heard you speak or from people who have your clients, etc. Ultimately, you need to change them out for people who have hired you or brought you in to speak. So the bio, the testimonials, all your contact information, picture of your book, and then on the back side, you want to give them 3 different speaking presentations. Now,
Okay.
it could really be the same presentation for 3 different audiences, or just rewritten, or it could be 3 entirely different topics based on who you want to speak in front of and what their knowledge level is and what their interest level is, or their specifics. So on the back, you'll have an opportunity to do 3 presentations. You name it, give it a snappy title, like all of Judith's books.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that's a
you give
lot now.
you give a snappy title, then you do it about a paragraph overall introduction, and then again get into those bullet points. Give them 3 to 4 bullet points about what the audience will learn. And this beautiful sheet, you can submit it through us and it's pretty much automated. You can pick the speaker sheet, you can pick the podcast sheet, or you can pick both.
Mhm.
And then you'll have, and all you do is submit exactly what's there. And then our designer will get it back to you in a couple of days. And this is the most affordable way to do this. The good news is, it comes back to you beautifully. You can start using it. Now, you'll use it when you start looking for speaking gigs, when you start submitting yourself. A lot of the more established speaking opportunities, you'll have to you'll fill out their forms. But a lot of times, if you're looking to speak locally to women's groups or Kiwanis or niche groups of what your book subject matter is, or seniors, or whoever you're trying to sell your book to, those gatekeepers, this is a perfect tool for. And then there will be some other speaking gigs that when you go try to get into the corporate world, this also gives them the level of your professionalism. So those are really important tools that you need to have to really get yourself booked.
Yeah, that sounds great. All that, I mean, again, now we're going back to where I started the show. This is a business. Speaking is a business too. Jackie and I have been out here for a gazillion years. I'm talking not just a few, we're talking decades. Speaking and connecting and working with meeting planners and traveling. That's how I landed in all 50 states. That's how I spoke in 20 countries. And it's how I sold, by the way, 1 million books. So speaking is really essential. And even if your game plan is not to go out and speak, which I would hope to transition you to, but 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 to speak on podcast or do these interaction interviews, there are still these skill sets that you've got to bring in, and learn how to like to get them back on your track when they pull off on another track, which I've had happen a zillion times, in these things. So, what Jackie's saying is gold. I just want you to understand that it's gold. If you want to sell books, if you want to be a seriously successful author, just saying. I'm just saying. All right, so Jackie, I'm on your ball court. So here. So what do you think? What other tools should we be looking at to,
So,
not only in the podcast area, but just maybe, you've been out here speaking. You could be kissing on those two as well.
so let me just tell you, if you're an author or a coach turning your book into a tool for you,
Mhm.
the world is filled with incredible resources that you may not know about. And so, one of the things that I developed was the Tech Tools Treasure Chest. And what
Ooh, I
this
love that.
it is 21 different categories of resources that you no longer have to search for. For example, if you need content management systems or
Uh-huh.
website creation systems
Uh-huh.
or stock photo houses or an entire list of resources for authors and an entire list of resources for speaker and a massive list of AI tools and what they will do. There's 21 different categories for you of all the links right there. And it's all simple in a spreadsheet, almost 1,000 resources spread over
Holy
those
moly.
21. Yeah. Now, here's the thing, because it's a spreadsheet, let's say that you are out hunting around and you come across a great tool that you don't have a use for right now, but you think, I'm going to need that in the future. You then drop that into this tool, this spreadsheet, and you never have to go looking for things again.
Mhm.
You can compile and add to this list on your own so that you have the ultimate resource of things that we've provided and things that you've added. And you don't have to do this. Now, where did I see that? Where would I find that? It's all right there. So the
Mm.
Tactiles treasure chest. Now, I'm gonna make this really simple on people.
Ooh.
All of the things that we've talked about today, I put on a one page. And we're going to still talk about one more thing in the next minute or two.
Ooh,
But
good.
you're going to find it all in this one place. So go to consciousmediarelations.com/offers. Because we had so many great things going on, it was just easier to compile it into one place so people know. You'll find promocast there. You'll find the Conscious Media Relations podcast tour there. You'll find the Tech Tools Treasure Chest. You'll find just about and the podcast and the radio podcast and the speaker sheets. All of this is on that page.
Mm-hmm. I love everything on one page. So is that something they have to pay for, or is that a freebie?
The Tech Tools Treasure Chest is $99.
Okay. So I that would be a no-brainer for me, for someone to grab that. And just do that and take advantage of that. So I'm just going to tell all of you.
It'll
That
make your
so,
life easier. Trust. I mean, I've done all that research. I have found all these companies because I either they were valuable to me or I knew that they would be valuable to somebody else.
and so Jackie, when you go to that, how often, because as you know, links break, sites change, things disappear. So my question for you would be, how often do you do you do an update to make sure that these are all meet live still?
Once a year.
Mhm.
However, things go dark in the meantime. So
Oh,
we
they do.
actually encourage
Do.
people on the page. here, let us know if you find a dead link, and we will then research it and find it. Because
Mhm.
we may not know about something that's gone bad, but we will
Mhm.
check them all at least once a year. And I took one
Mhm.
off the other day that went bad. So
Okay, so is Ben, I want to make sure, I'd like to just show him what your website looks like. Is that okay? Can
sure.
we do this now? All right, so I'm gonna, let's see, I've got to figure out, bring it in. If we can do, I'm gonna expand this baby out. All right, I'm gonna share. I brought your website up actually while you were talking. All right, so we're showing this. Here she is. All right, am I in the right place?
Yep, that's the main one,
Okay.
homepage.
All right, tell me where I'm gonna go. Treasure
Now
chest.
that you can get there, you can get the speaker sheets there. What's not on there is PromoCast.
Okay. All right. So we've
If you
got
just,
this, right? Here's
yep,
your speaker
there you
sheets.
go.
All right. So you want to have, and I just have to say this, if you're going to, your picture is a must. Please make it look like you look like now,
Yeah.
not 30 years ago. Please do that. So, and here's her testimonials, nice pop, and then information. You've got your social media. It's all there, putting those into place. All right.
You
So,
actually pick from 6 or 7 templates
mhm,
and you give us your colors. So it'll
yeah.
be exactly right for you.
Okay. And so we're gonna do a tour, we're gonna do a little tour here. So then you've got information about her information along in here that you can see about their different tours. They laid lots of things that she talked about. All right. And then she's got lots of rave reviews, always good when you're doing these things. Gives you background of her, but let's go to this magic treasure chest. All right. So it's all very quickly, but look at all the different areas that it covers, from project management to video creation to who and where and when and why you might want to outsource some stuff, all kinds of AI tools. You've got social media, and then are these live links or just these are just copies? Looks like it's just copies
Yeah,
of
yeah,
yeah, of things you can do. But it's for 1,000 contacts, different things, updated once a year is pretty good, by the way, because this is this you have no idea of how much work it takes to do these kind of updates. It's You have to bring in a team of people to do it. At least that's my experience when I've had to do it with media contacts.
well, in our case, it's a lovely young woman named Camille who's been on my team for a very long time.
Yeah, tips and tricks. Anyway, so that's where you go back. I was trying to get back to I can go back to here. All right. So you've got, a lot of things in a toolkit to go to. Jackie's been around for I mean, again, she's been in my radar for at least 3 decades. That's safe to say, Jackie?
It is.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's really important to know when you've got things, you need to understand the power of shortcuts and learning it. It's like when I wrote my book, How to Create $1 Million Speech. I actually included my contract that I paid an attorney $1,000 for. I go through, number one, I give you permission. You can just rip that sucker off and use it. You can fill in the blank, and I go through each section telling you why that section is in there. So,
Well, and
so much.
let me also tell you that on that treasure chest, there's a lot of stuff that's free.
Ooh, well, we love free.
Yeah, I mean, certainly it takes you to a lot of paid services, but there's also a lot of free things.
Hmm. So, it's just I just thought it would be a good idea to share. You know, you're
Thank
behind
you.
the scenes. You're welcome. All right. So we have like 3 minutes left. So can you believe that? So first of
So
all, I want to say I want to have you back. I think we should just do like once every quarter or so, to just really come back and relook at things.
should we talk about the last thing I got going on?
I know I'm ready for it.
Okay.
Okay.
So if you love history, if you love travel, if you love historic novels, then you're going to love The Historic Traveler. Now, this is my passion project. And,
Ooh,
I'm at a certain age, I want to do the things that are fun. And so this
yes.
is an online destination that will bring you individual stories about historic locations, my storytelling abilities, then my photos from all over the world. I've been to 500 places. And then the books that we recommend to make you feel as if you lived there. And most of them are historic novels. We also have the world's largest list of historic novels, history books, and mysteries by locality. So if you are planning to travel, you can pick it. We have a membership with all kinds of resources, including an 80-page magazine. And our membership is totally and completely free.
Free.
So go
Wow.
over to thehistorictraveler.com. And by the way, that's one L in traveler, not the English version. Thehistorictraveler.com, and grab our free membership. Look around. We have a community. We have a book club. We have, we have historic novels. We review them in our twice a month newsletter, in the magazine, and on our website. So we are going to be feeding you all kinds of cool stuff if you love it. And if you're a historic novel author, well,
I
reach
am.
out to us. We have something we can do together.
You know what? I want to do that together with you. I'm going to send you stuff. If you can stay a couple minutes after our podcast, you'll tell me everything I need to do and I will do it. I'm so excited that in our series, the third book just came out.
Yay!
Yeah, and I was so thrilled, Jackie. And I'm going to tell all of you, if you don't know about Literary Titan, if you've got novels, if you're a fiction author, you need to discover Literary Titan. Their reviewers actually read your book because I've seen a lot of cursory ones over the years. It's a very cool. It's a paid, Jackie. I don't know if you're using it, Literary Titan, but it's like $59. And if you get a 5-star review, guess what? You're automatically entered into their book awards competition without paying another nickel. It is super duper. So,
One
yeah,
last
that's,
word.
yep,
In
with
the
the
next in the
historictraveler.com.
in the
Okay.
next couple of in the next couple of weeks, we're also introducing the Hot 25, the historic novels that are selling that month.
Love it. All right, Jackie Lapin, thank you so much for being with us.
It
All
has been
right.
a pleasure. Thank you
All
so
right.
much for having me.
See you all.